everybody, this is Oaks and Arrows and I'm Erin. Today we're going to be talking about my oldest child's curriculum picks for the 24-25 school year. I am a mom of four and my oldest child is going into the 4th grade. I feel like this is the year where things start to really solidify and get more serious in homeschooling, and that is definitely evident in the change to his workload this year. Without further ado, let's get into what we're going to be using for our 9-year-old son this school year. So first, I'm going to talk about what we're using for my son for language arts. This is Language Arts and Literature by The Good and the Beautiful, and this is their Level 4 curriculum. The Level 4 curriculum, we have found out, has quite a different layout than the curriculums that are in the previous years. So preschool is its own thing, and then kindergarten through 2nd is very similar. 3rd grade, they add an extra step, and then 4th grade, they add in the spelling and writing workshop on a daily basis. So we're a couple weeks into the school year, and I'm not gonna lie, the first week was kind of rough with adjusting to this new workload. The Good and the Beautiful also works on 4th graders working more independently at this age, and that's another adjustment for my son, a good adjustment that he does need to start working on. So far, we are liking the lessons, but we're just adjusting to a little bit more of a workload. So if you are about to jump into 4th grade and you've used the Good and the Beautiful before, just be aware it might be good to maybe break up the first couple lessons into 2 days to just kind of build your child up to those full lessons. But now that we've been doing it for almost 2 weeks, my son's got the hang of it and he's staying on track, and I'm feeling a lot more confident in his ability to work mostly independently on these lessons. And with that being said, I don't just like, here, go work on your language arts. You're supposed to do it independently now. I do sit with him. I read the instructions of every part of this book and the instructions of every part of this book with him and make sure he understands it. If I can tell that he's doubtful about what he's supposed to do, we do 1 to 2 of the problems together so that I know that he's got a grasp on it before I have him go work independently on the information in these books. So far that has really helped, and it's a good balance of me working with him and him working independently. So we'll see if that continues to be the case. Then he also has his Level 4 personal reader. If you've used younger grades of The Good and the Beautiful, this replaces the fiction books. Just like the 3rd grade level had 4 different fiction books, this has 4 fiction books. They're just all combined into one book. And then they also have this world biographies book. It looks like you learn about 6 different people in this book, and they're just little biographies written at their level about people with good character, morals, values, and that have been in positions of power or influence in their lives and what they did with that. So I think it's great for our children to have some good role models in history, and so this is that. It gives them some of those role models. It's worked right into their curriculum. So we haven't read any of these yet. It hasn't been in our curriculum yet because we're still at the beginning of the school year, but maybe I'll do an update at the end of Q1 or halfway through the year on what we think of this curriculum. The next thing that my son does is handwriting. This is also from The Good and the Beautiful, And each day he just completes 1 to 2 pages of the handwriting. Last year it switched to cursive handwriting, and he's actually really enjoyed doing cursive. Whenever he has a moment where he's waiting on me, he knows that he can just pull this out and work a little bit on this until I can help him with whatever section he's working on in his math or language arts. So that's kind of how we do handwriting for him at the age that he is at. Now for math. Like I said in my other curriculum videos for the 24-25 school year, this is the first year that we have switched math curriculums. I was just talking to my son about it today, and he was saying he likes this so much better. He can work so much more independently. Even my second grader can work much more independently with this math, and that math is Math UC. Math UC comes with a few different components for this age. They don't level them by grade levels, they level them by names. So his course is called Delta, and what I like about this curriculum is that it's incredibly mastery based, and so his whole year this year is going to be primarily focused on mastering division. And I don't know if you remember back to elementary school, but I know when I was in elementary school, my 4th grade year was mostly focused on division. So that is a very familiar concept to me. I always did really well in math. My husband was homeschooled for part of his elementary school experience too, and he used Math UC as well back 25 years ago, and the curriculum has hardly changed at all, and it's just a good curriculum. It's laid out really well, it's super simple to use, and at their age it comes with a DVD to help you teach the lessons if needed, if you as a parent need to review the concepts that are being taught. It comes with a test for each week. The next component is the teacher instruction manual, and this is laid out so well. It gives you specific examples on how to teach the concept to your child, if they're struggling, how to expand on a topic. And like I said, that goes hand in hand with the DVD that they give you, so that if maybe you're not understanding how you need to teach that concept to your child, you can visually see how another teacher teaches that to their child, and that makes it just so much easier. Lastly, it comes with the student workbook. In the student workbook, everything's divided by lessons. They learn a lesson with you, and then there's 6 worksheets that go along with the lessons. And those are split up into practice and review. So once they have mastered, then they can do 1 or 2 review worksheets and then move on to the test. The way we've worked this so far is my son does the lesson and 1 worksheet on the first day. Then on the second day, he does 2 more worksheets. Then after that, I check, and if he's doing everything no problem at all, then on the 3rd day, we'll just do 1 review. And if he masters that review, then on the 4th day, we test. So that's what we've been doing so far, but I'll let you guys know more as the year goes on. Then we have typing. In 3rd grade, I decided to add a typing curriculum on for my son. And I actually spent a lot of time researching different typing websites, typing curriculums. I wanted something to be fun for my son, but also something that was cost effective. And a lot of the games and apps out there that are more curriculum based and give you an actual, we're gonna start here, and then we're gonna build to this, and then we're gonna learn this. Those typing curriculums were pretty expensive actually. Like, by expensive, I mean like maybe $15 a month. But my son was gonna use that all year long. So that adds up. The Good and the Beautiful typing is about $15 for the whole curriculum. And so he did typing 1 last year, and he actually really enjoyed it. and he's in typing 2 this year. This year he's going to be typing some poems. He's going to be typing answers to questions. So it's a great build off of the typing 1 that he learned last year, where you kind of learn where the keys are, and then this year he's actually using those skills. So he actually really enjoys this. It goes to show that sometimes bigger and brighter and fancier isn't necessarily better. This is just a quick lesson, straight to the point. He spends like 15 minutes on a Word document on my laptop and just works on his typing, and then we move on with our day. And I really think that's all kids need at this elementary age when it comes to typing. Next, we have science. We are starting with the safety unit. We've been having a lot of fun with it. My older son has too. Today, for example, we learned about fire safety and learned how to properly pop out our screen doors and safely jump out our first floor windows in case we had a fire emergency. So that was a lot of fun for my kids, especially my 4th grade son. But it goes over fire safety. You learn when to call 911. You learn water safety, electrical safety. You learn about stranger danger. So it's got a lot of great lessons that we really should go through with our kids, and this just gives us a step-by-step guide to do it. The Good and the Beautiful Sciences are super open and go. It does give you a list of supplies that you need, because science does tend to have some little activities or projects that you might not just have around the house. So far, we're just doing it twice a week, and everything's been around our house. So I've taught this curriculum at our co-op before, so I knew it was going to be super simple to implement in our homeschool. So we're starting with safety. Next, my son wanted to learn about, I think he chose weather and electricity. So we're going to do those ones next. Our co-op is also doing some science come winter time, so I think that will be plenty of science for my 4th grader. We're doing this family style as well. So the way this unit is set up is there is like a coloring book for my littles, and then the 3rd through 6th graders do these lessons. Like today they had to draw an escape plan. The next time we do science, they'll look at pool and water safety. And then if you have a middle school student and you still want to do the family style, they have a student journal that expands on everything for 7th and 8th graders as well. The next thing that we're adding to our homeschool for the first time this year is history. I talked to several families and I looked through tons of curriculums that other homeschool moms I know were very happy to share with me and let me look through. And I kind of wanted to stick with the idea of learning history, not from like beginning to end at this age, but starting like geographically, learning about your state, then learning about your country, then learning about the world. And once we start learning about the world, then we'll start going from like the beginning of time through to present day history. So we are starting simply in our history by just doing the Abeka My State Journal. So in this journal, each week, he'll learn about things like topography. He'll learn about the state's politics and things like that are just general information about the state. And then he'll start learning about the state's history. When was it settled? When did it become a state? So this takes your child through every bit of their state's history, and I think this is plenty for a child that is starting history for the first time. So we're just going to alternate this with our science curriculum. So we'll do science 2 days a week and history 2 days a week. Some of it will be family style, but answering the information in this book will be up to my son. So some of that we'll check out books from the library, and other things we will learn how to look for on the internet, and I will be with him, helping him select good articles and learning how to use Google safely. We have a couple of books that we're starting right now with our morning materials to go along with this when we start getting into the early history of our state. We live in a state that Lewis and Clark passed through, so we're going to be learning about Lewis and Clark's dog, Seaman, and this is like a children's book that's very appropriate for my children's ages. So that's kind of a cute way that we're going to start looking at that part of our state's history. And then my son's started reading parts of this already, but we're going to read it together in our morning time, and it is The Adventures of Lewis and Clark by John Bakeless. And it just kind of tells everything very factually, but in a story format. And so we're gonna have fun with this as well this year. So that is how we've decided to start off our first year of officially teaching history in our homeschool. Lastly, I just wanted to show you some fun stuff that my son has been into doing. We have this How to Draw book for ages 9 to 12. This was actually given to us as a gift, but you can find it on Amazon. It just has really fun step-by-step drawings for kids. And my son is super into art. If he finishes his curriculum early in the day, then he tends to grab out this book and do 1 or 2 drawings from it in the afternoons. So this is something that my 9-year-old has really been enjoying. And though it isn't an official part of our curriculum, it's a great way to add some simple art into our homeschool days. Last, some of the books we're going to be reading this year in our morning time as a family. These are books that I shared more in depth in my 2nd grade daughter's curriculum picks video, but I'll just quickly go through the titles here. This year we're going to be reading Stuart Little, My Father's Dragon. We're gonna read Little House in the Big Woods, the BFG this year. We have started reading The Sign of the Beaver. Then we're going to read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So those are the books we're gonna start off our school year with. I bet we read all of those and more. So those are all the curriculums we're using for my 4th grade son this school year. I'd love to hear if you're using any similar curriculums, or if you're going a whole different direction with your 4th grader, and how your curriculum choices may differ if you have a 4th grade daughter versus a son. I'd be super interested to hear how you may be changing up your curriculum style for your child that has different personality, interests than mine does. I appreciate you guys watching. If you could take a moment to like the video and subscribe below, it would mean the world to me. Take a second to comment and let me know what you thought, and I'd love to get to know you guys. Have a wonderful day. Bye.